Hey everyone, how's it going? This is a match I got the other week in my T49, and it's my first and so far only ace tanker in this little tier 8 scout, so I thought it would be worth sharing here. Now, I'm on the east spawn of Live Oaks, and since I'm not in a very heavily armored tank, I decide to go along the railway line in the south, because I feel like it's a fairly important position to take control of in the game. Now, I'm in a T49, so I obviously don't want to be right up in the front. The T49 I feel has a sort of interesting playstyle. Even though it's a light tank, you sort of want to sit back and snipe with it, initially at least. Even though it has a very inaccurate derp gun, you don't actually really need to aim for weak spots with it at range, because anywhere you hit on the enemy will still do damage, even if it is only like 200 to 400 damage. We do have an E50 that has pushed up aggressively and is lighting all of the enemy tanks that poke over the ridge, and it's our job as support to try and keep them alive as best we can. Though unfortunately the enemies have a somewhat suicidal Object 704 who's just going to rush over and kill the E50. And I just can't help him fast enough to keep him alive. And now at this point our E50 is just dead. There's nothing more we can do to save him. And instead of going for the shot on the Object 704 or the IS-3, I decide to try and do as much damage as I can to the STB-1, because the IS-3 is only a tier 8 tank. The STB-1 is a tier 10 with really good DPM, and it's a fast tank, so it's good to get such a valuable tank out of the enemy team's hands as quickly as possible. And the reason I didn't go for the 704 was because he was face-hugging the E50, and I really didn't want to chance doing team damage. But now the 704 is just out in the open and dead. And now, since there's nobody on the team who has actually taken a forward position to light up the enemies, I decide to go and do 20 damage to myself, because it wouldn't be fair to the enemy team if I didn't have some sort of handicap, right? But pro driving aside, it's now my job to spot the enemies for my team. We do have 2 artillery pieces, King Wolf in his 212A and an M53-55. So I want to be lighting the enemies as much as possible. I don't actually have to be doing the damage myself, just as long as they're lit up, the arties will take care of them. But it also helps if I can get random little shots at T30 turrets, I guess. I mean, 164 damage isn't a lot, but maybe I killed a loader or his gunner or something. And it looks like he's pulled back. Something fun you can do with the T49 is actually use third person to arc shots over terrain and obstacles. And I do actually end up hitting the tortoise. I do like 280 damage to him, I think. Although I'm not entirely certain off the top of my head. It was somewhere around there. Here I just want to get across this opening so I can't be shot by the tank destroyers on the ridge where the tortoise is. I really didn't expect the T30 to come over and shoot me like that. Well played to him, I guess. Like, I thought he would be getting punished a little more by our team for doing that, but apparently it's not the case. And this next shot is just 100% luck. Like, the very far left corner of his lower plate was showing. And that's where my shot goes. So I get an HE pen on him. which is really, really lucky. Which is, I guess, kind of the reason I don't enjoy this tank as much as other people. I don't like the RNG dependence. I could definitely run the 90mm gun on it with full heat, but I don't know. That basically just turns it into a marginally worse RU-251, and if I wanted that, I'd play an RU-251 and be marginally better in it. But the gun handling on the 152mm howitzer is a bit off-putting at times. It kind of forces me into a more passive playstyle than I usually have, which may or may not be a bad thing, I guess. I'm not really sure. I know I play aggressively at points, and sometimes far too aggressively, so I've been trying to cut down on that a little bit. So maybe the T49 is something I need to be a better player. I'm not sure. I don't really intend to keep it, though, after I'm done grinding it. Once I get the T54E1, I'll probably just sell this thing off. Put the crew back in the Walker Bulldog. And then go from there. Here I was kind of a bit indecisive. I wasn't really sure if the enemies were going to try and go for RCAP or come back and defend. Although I guess I should have realized that they would come back and defend. It's not like going to RCAP would really win them the game. So their best shot at it is to kill our friendly tanks that are out in the middle of the field as quickly as possible. I mean, they are a bit outnumbered, but an IS-7 and E100 can really do quite a lot of work together. Although, unfortunately for them, we do have 2 artillery pieces, and they are just raining down fire on the 2 enemy heavies. So, like earlier, all I have to do is stay alive and spot for my arties, and they'll just do all the damage for me if need be. Of course, I do want to do a little bit more damage myself, so... King Wolf lands a 700 damage shot on the E100, and friendly IS-3 takes out the IS-7 before he can turn his turret towards me. So yeah, Ace Tanker and Confederate Medal. 3,329 assistance damage. I'm not actually sure if most of that was from spotting or tracking or what, but also did 4,132 regular damage and picked up 1,486 base experience, which got me the ace, obviously. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. T49, I don't think it's a very good tank, honestly. I know some people really like it, and if you're one of them, that's great. I'm glad you like the tank. It's just my opinions on it are a little different. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe I'll catch you next time. And until then, happy hunting.